I think the Big 12 Conference is desperate for Deion Sanders to stay at Colorado. I think Deion Sanders loves it at Colorado. But the question is, if the phone rings, how does Deion Sanders not pick up and have a conversation? If USC fires Lincoln Riley and they call Deion Sanders, are you telling me that Deion Sanders doesn't have a conversation? And we've talked about this on the show previously. I think there's only 2 or 3 gigs in this country that can pull Deion Sanders. Obviously, Florida State's one of them. And everybody says, well, Florida State hates Deion now because of Travis Hunter. You're out of your mind. If you think that Florida State wouldn't hire Deion Sanders today if they thought they could get him, I think you're crazy. If Steve Sarkisian ever left Texas, I think the first phone call they would make would be to Deion Sanders. And yes, I believe if USC fires Lincoln Riley, how do they not make the call to Deion Sanders? Because it is unquestionable to me that Deion Sanders is a home run hire for anyone, and that includes Colorado. And the thing that I would say is, if Deion Sanders leaves Colorado, it is absolutely devastating for the Big 12 Conference. Because without Coach Prime, I have no idea how relevant this conference would be today. And my real opinion is, if Deion Sanders isn't in the Big 12, I feel very strongly that the Big 12 is irrelevant, especially when you look at Utah and the struggles of Oak State, and you look at the state of Texas not really competing at a high level in college football. Jake, I think it is absolutely critical that Deion Sanders stays at Colorado for the Big 12.
I mean, what's another big name in the Big 12? I mean, if you sit and look at the conference, who else is the, I guess Kyle Whittingham would be. I mean, Kyle Whittingham is certainly nationally recognized, but he's not the brand, in my opinion, that Deion is. And, I think that the shock value or the however you want to characterize it, that presence that Deion has with the media and just with the younger generation, like, it's just a different thing. It's not to say it's better than Whit, but I just think when you look at the Big 12, there's not another guy who's as like, gravitational. Yeah. Like there's not another guy that pulls that kind of attention. And I think after Texas left, like, the Big 12 has been sitting here trying to figure out who's next. And Deion's kind of stepped into that.
But I think when you look at the coaches in this league, Kyle Whittingham's a great example of this. Kyle Whittingham's 65 years old.
Yeah.
Kyle Whittingham isn't on Instagram yesterday introducing the diamond turf that he wore when he played for the Falcons and the Braves.
Begging people to tag Nike so that Nike will release it.
That's what Deion Sanders is. Kyle Whittingham, and I love Kyle. I have a universal respect for him. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. Kyle Whittingham, in my opinion, doesn't have name or Q factor with 16-year-old kids the way that Deion Sanders does. And a lot of it is because Deion Sanders owns social media. He owns it. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, less on X now. But you look at Coach Prime across social media, he dominates. Not his kid's account, not Colorado's account. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, his own account. He's got Deion Sanders Jr., who follows him around with a camera and shoots his reality series. Like, I think that is, if we learned anything from the election less than a month ago now, you have to own the social media space.
Yeah, I just think you have to embrace it. It has to be a thing. This is much like the portal. You have to embrace the new age concepts of how to go out and get recruits. I hope people understand it. We're not saying, hey, he owns social media in the sense that, oh, well, he just posts a lot. No, he owns social media in the sense that like with like what you were saying with Deion Jr. He's tasked Deion Jr. with having a camera and a crew, not like a TV crew. You need to understand this. And I'm making this point because I don't think most people get this. You have Deion Jr. and a bunch of folks under him who follow the program around, follow Deion around, and are constantly just capturing the life of Deion Sanders.
Turning on the intimacy that you get. And you probably think I'm being crazy. I'm telling you I'm not.
Think about what a recruit sees when he's about to explain this.
The intimacy that you got when he was having his toes amputated. And literally, there's an episode of Coach Prime on Prime where Deion Sanders Jr. turns on Deion Sanders Sr.'s bedroom light and wakes up his dad to go to the hospital with a camera, and they're filming this. You're like inside of this guy's life.
Do you understand the willingness that it takes to do that?
It's unbelievable. And as people who do this for a living, and we have made behind the scenes content, it's tough to get people to do that.
People won't do it.
But it's his son. He's built an infrastructure that allows you to understand, hey, I'm like the episode where he goes to Nike. Do you think a 16-year-old kid thinks it's cool to go to Nike and design a retro shoe?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I think that when you're talking about flipping quarterback recruits like Deion did, and you're talking about flipping offensive linemen as recruits like Deion did, that stuff is critical. And I say all of this because who else in the Big 12 is doing that? Is Mike Gundy doing that? Is Kyle Whittingham doing that?
Well, and it used to be that BYU was the leader in this space. That BYU,
Kalani does it,
but Kalani doesn't
to
do it
a lesser
level.
extent.
Yeah, like it's different at BYU. Like, we need to make sure you understand this. So at BYU, they have a staff that they have a whole video department and a whole thing,
and they dominate,
and they do a great job, phenomenal job. But the key difference between what Deion does and what BYU does is the way BYU's content feels. It feels like you have a social media team that's just kind of covering the program as a whole.
At the facility, at the stadium.
It's kind of all about
on the bus.
Yeah.
With Deion Sanders, it's a way of life. He films everything he does.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference. And so I say all of this because if you think that USC is not going to call Deion Sanders, you're crazy. And I'm going to play this bite from Deion, and you are going to hear him unequivocally say, "No, I'm not going anywhere." But do you believe?
Say that. What do you say to Buff Nation out there?
I'm good. I tell them all the time. I'm comfortable where I am.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how many times I can say it. I only speak one language. I can't say, I wish I spoke several different languages so they would understand more candidly. But I'm happy and content with where I am.
Well, what did you say the other day? I've got my kickstand.
I got my kickstand. See, you got to be old.
Well, I was going to say.
You got to be at least 40 and over.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
To understand what a kickstand is. A kickstand down means what? I'm parked, right? I'm good.
You're parked.
Now, I've seen reports where they talking about the kickstand means you can put it back up and drive off. Like, God.
I was watching.
I think he loves being at Colorado.
Yeah.
But at no time in there did he say, I'm staying. I am not leaving. I am here for good. Like, I think he said exactly what you have to say.
Yeah.
And he said it sitting in front of a banner with an Aflac logo on it because he makes commercials with Nick Saban. Why do you think Nick Saban's on the Pat McAfee show every week?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think Bill Belichick's on the Pat McAfee show every week? Because you have to be. I think Deion Sanders loves Colorado. I think Deion Sanders would like nothing more than to win a national championship and build a dominant program at Colorado.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue with Colorado.
Not at all.
It's
not.
And I think that everybody likes to make it about, oh, well, you guys are saying he doesn't like Colorado. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying he doesn't like Colorado. What I'm saying is that, hey, and it's the old DJ Khaled reference. Hey, you're suffering from success. Hey, you're a huge brand in college football.
Yes.
You're doing all these amazing things. Like, it's bringing you a ton of notoriety. You're starting to see the product improve on the field. Like, you're suffering from success. So when the phone rings and Florida State's on the other end, or Texas, or whoever the hell you want to point to, I mean, he's going to take the call.
Absolutely.
Like, you're going to have the conversation.
And he should.
And he should. And it's not to say that it's guaranteed that he's leaving, but I just think if you're Rick George, you're the administration at Colorado, you got to be on the same page with the idea that, hey, like, we've got one of the best things going in college football right now, whether we win a national championship or not. This is one of the best stories in college football. And we have to be prepared for the fact that this could end at any time. And that's the unfortunate nature of coaching college football. It's so different in the NFL. In the NFL, you've got contracts and, dudes are going to, work those contracts out. And like, it's totally different. But in college football, a guy can leave when he wants to leave. And How many times have we had the Mike Elkos of the world say, I'm not going anywhere. I'm good here. I'm not going anywhere. And then not 6 weeks later, they're doing their introductory press conference at A&M. Like, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming Deion, but it is foolishness. It is you're putting your head in the sand if you think that this guy's not going to take the calls and have the conversations.
NFL or college football?
College football.
I don't see him. I agree. I don't think he's an NFL guy, because how much has this guy talked about? And again, I consume all of his content, and I can tell you repeatedly, he has said he is somebody whose job he believes that God has put him on earth to mentor young people to become young men. He believes that his job is to take kids and make them men, to help them make better decisions. He talks to them. A lot of people were pissed when Colorado put their social media handles on the back of their practice jerseys. Well, why did they do that? Their practices aren't on TV. Yeah, they are. Because when you go to Colorado, you sign a release and you're on Coach Prime's show and you're on his reality series. And why? Because they're building brands. They're making money. And it's what Deion has talked about repeatedly. And it's why he's able to get Julian Lewis, a 5-star quarterback, to commit to Colorado from USC. And if you're USC right now, and I think this is very interesting, that it doesn't matter where you're committed to. Honest to goodness, I don't think it matters if you're at Florida State, Georgia, Bama, USC.
We built this program on NIL.
He doesn't give a darn, as he says, because he's going to get the best recruits and he's going to get the best guys in the portal. So if you're SC, you just lost a 5-star quarterback to Deion Sanders, and you're already thinking about firing Lincoln Riley. Are you telling me you're not calling the devil? Because isn't Deion Sanders the devil at that point? I think he is. So if you're looking at whacking Mike Norvell, you're telling me your first phone call is not Deion Sanders, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And if you're a program, I'm telling you this now. If you're a Oak State is a perfect example of this, because I have no idea how Mike Gundy must have nudes.
I'm a man.
Right? Mike Gundy must have nudes. It's all I can think of. Not of himself. Like, it's not that he's see what happened.
I don't know. I don't
Gundy,
know if.
I mean, the
I don't quite know how to answer that.
And when I bequeath myself with these thoughts, I don't think about Mike Gundy. I just want to clarify that I do not think about Mike. Well, you don't have
to because of his hair.
Because I can't go below the shoulder, the mullet.
Right.
My point was, I don't know what leverage he has over people in Stillwater. But if you're in Stillwater and you're not seriously thinking about firing Mike Gundy, you're out of your mind.
I don't really get it.
It is. And again, I go to this question right here. How important is Colorado football to the Big 12? I think it's critical right now.
Paramount.
I think that you need, if you're a Big 12 fan, and I understand if you're at Kansas, you want them to beat Deion Sanders. If you're a fan of this conference, you are rooting for Coach Prime every week for the rest of the year. Because without him, I don't know if somehow Arizona State gets in. I think it's a great story. It's not great for the conference.
No.
I think if BYU or Colorado does not get in, it's not good for the conference.
Man, I have my reservations about BYU.
And I've looked at that game 27 ways to Sunday, and we'll talk about it coming up in about 40 minutes. I can't find a way to pick BYU over Arizona State.
But Deion's importance to this conference is it can't be understated, and it's not because, I mean, he's partially earned it. Part of it is he's earned it, but I think the other side of it is that, you know, and I know we talk about this all the time, and we don't have to go back down the carousel today, but like the whole concept of, hey, like, there's not another program in the Big 12 that really is doing things right now. And it should have been Utah, but it wasn't. And it should have been Oak State, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't.
You know, it should have been Joey and Tech, but it wasn't.
Should have been K-State and Avery Johnson.
Should have been the great marathon runner Avery Johnson, but it's not. Like, it's just one of these deals where you look around the other conferences, and I agree the ACC is the worst conference in the country on the football field, that is. But the problem is that at least they have multiple college football playoff contenders. Like, I understand that that you look at this graphic right here, like the Big 12 is light on this graphic, man. There's not like, I understand that BYU and Colorado are right there, and hey, one of them's going to go, but is one really a good number? Like, is that really all we're trying to do in the Big 12? Like, that's my thing.
It's a great question. Is that good enough? And I'm telling you, it's not. And again, I'll say for the ACC, is it a good look? Is it a good look if you look at this graphic right here and SMU is your representative? If SMU wins the ACC championship game, Miami's not getting in. Is it good? And I'm sure that every flipping SMU fan is going to lose their mind, as you guys have been in the comment section all year long. But you ask yourself right now, if Miami beats Wake Forest and Syracuse, and I do not trust Cam Ward.
Big trust.
Big trust, bruh. I do not big trust Cam Ward.
Right.
As far as I can throw him.
Bruh.
And I would assume that they do. And I would assume that a Clemson team that's only got the Citadel and South Carolina left on the schedule, I would assume Clemson would win out. And if it's Clemson and SMU in the conference championship game, Miami probably is getting in. And I would assume, I mean, let's play the same game. It's Virginia and Cal. There ain't a chance on God's green earth that Rhett Lashley and SMU are losing one of those two games.
Agreed.
We'll see what happens. But I look at the scenarios. If you're Miami, you do not want to get to the ACC championship game.
And I just think, look, I think that the ACC, you know, we can do scenarios all day, right? I mean, we can look at, you know, wins and who's this and that, but the reality of the situation is that it's best for the ACC if Miami wins the conference right now. And I'm not sure that that's going to happen. Honestly, I don't think you can definitively say that's going to happen.
I don't think you can either.
And the real problem is that looking at the top 25 and, you know, like this whole situation, like I just don't think that there's a lot of confidence that the ACC and the Big 12 are somehow going to make a splash this year. And I'm just telling you, man, if you're a Big 12 football fan, and I don't care who your team is in this conference, like this one team nonsense is just not good enough. I understand that the Big 12 is never going to have four teams.
But it's Clemson and the Citadel.
Yeah.
You guys understand, because Clemson doesn't play another conference game the rest of the season, they don't control their destiny.
Yeah.
And that loss to Louisville is absolutely stomping on your nuts right now.
Yes.
Because you have the Citadel in South Carolina, and you look at SMU. SMU beat Louisville. And you look at Miami, and Miami beat Louisville. So you need Miami or SMU to lose for Clemson to get in. And if one of those two teams loses, I got bad news for you. They're out. And that's why I said there's no real scenario for the ACC or, in my opinion, for the ACC or the Big 12 to get two in.
Yeah.
Not with this sitting right here, because if SMU at 13 loses before the championship game, you're out. If SMU gets to the championship games and loses, you're out. If Miami loses before the championship game, they're out.
Yeah.
If they lose in the championship game, they're probably out.
Yeah.
Because I also can't see Notre Dame losing. I don't think Bama's losing. Hey, just out of curiosity, this brings me back to, how about that Indiana game this weekend?
Bro.
Is the Indiana game of consequence at all this weekend? If Indiana loses to Ohio State, are they in or are they out? It depends on how they lose, in my opinion.
Agreed.
And I think that's why I said I think Colorado is critically important to the Big 12. I just don't see.
Gotta have it.
You gotta have it, because the ACC, if the ACC, and I don't even know, the losses would have to mount. But if the ACC gets two in, that's an embarrassment if you're the Big 12, because the ACC is just not a good conference.
Yeah.
Like we were arguing about Boise on the show yesterday. Look at the strength of schedule and make the argument. Show me that you look at Boise State, and this is, again, I know this graphic is going to tweak the nips of the Boise State
Monty,
fans.
You just hate Boise State. You
Monty, what did we ever do in the comments section yesterday? Monty, what did we ever do to you? Well, buddy, nothing.
Stick to the SEC, Morty.
But the point is, you have the 77th ranked schedule, and you're going to be one of the 4 best teams in the country because you're getting a bye. If they win out and win the Mountain West, they're probably getting a bye.
Right.
And I still maintain, if we're trying to find the 12 best teams, Boise State has no place getting a bye. Sorry, the AQs should go to the power conferences, because if BYU wins out, they are 24 spots ahead of you in strength of schedule. 24. And if you're SMU, and I keep trying to tell people this about SMU, you're 86th in strength of schedule. If SMU wins the ACC, it's very bad for that league.
Yeah.
It's very bad for that league.
And then we're going to sit here and wonder how the SEC and the Big Ten garner all the control.
And excuse me, I forgot to get it. I'll get it right now. Did anybody see what the beloved Greg Sankey tweeted yesterday? You tell me. Is this an accidental tweet? Well, didn't mean to hit send on that one, friends.
Now, before we show this,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to paint this picture for people again, because people don't seem to be putting these dots together.
No, people don't want to hear it.
Yeah. So we go back to, and we took a ton of heat on this here program when we played the Sankey, hey, it's not my job to.
I'm not
help
lowering
people.
myself to you scumbags.
Yeah. So we have the Sankey podcast quote situation that happens.
Here, let's play the bite. Here is Greg Sankey talking about not lowering himself to your level.
I don't want to dumb down the Southeastern Conference to be part of some Super League notion with 70 teams that some people speculate would happen. They want to be us, and that's on them to figure it out, not on me to bring myself back to earth.
I love that.
So
Hundo P.
You have this quote. Then we've got the college football playoff system. The SEC's getting more. Everyone's all pissed off. Then we've got the Baylor panic button letter that gets sent out, and the SEC and Sankey and company don't even humor it. And then finally, Greg Sankey wants to do this and wants to talk about strength of schedule. And I got to say, I don't blame dude. I don't blame dude at all.
He
for
ain't
pointing
wrong.
this out. He's not wrong.
He say, here's your demon. The guy's
demon.
you. What a POS this guy is. Well, tell me he's wrong.
Garbage.
Tell me he's wrong. When he says, interesting to read analysis from others as they examine strength of schedule in college football, ... It does seem there is a trend to be identified. Trolling at its finest.
Dude.
Georgia, number 1 across the board.
Right.
Even with Carson Beck.
Right.
Bama, Tennessee, A&M, Ole Miss. Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
What conference are those guys? Those are all in the ACC, right? No, I meant the Big 12. The MEAC. They're all in
The Big Sky.
No. They're all in the Big East, who doesn't even play football.
Stay hard.
No, they're in the SEC.
Oh.
And again, the reality is, because Mike Smith, Mountain Mama, I don't know if Mike's here today. He never watches the show anymore because he hates me. Because I am famous for saying you don't have to like it. And you don't. But what's the reality? What is the reality,
This
friends?
graphic is the reality, bro.
What is there it is.
Yeah, sorry, can you get your thank you.
What is the reality here? The SEC plays itself. You played yourself. And your strength of schedule shows you played yourself because you have all the best teams. So you don't have to like it.
Good.
You don't have to like it. But the reality is that when you're Boise at 77 and you're SMU at 86, and your Army at 133. If Notre Dame loses to Army, I won't be here Monday.
Pack everything up. We're out of here.
Oh, wait, if they win Monday, if they beat Army, I won't be here either because I'll be in Hawaii and you won't.
This place is empty.
Couldn't help myself. My point is, if Notre Dame loses to Army, don't ever come in here and defend Marcus Freeman, and he can't count past 10.
If you ain't first, you're last.
That says 133 is the strength of schedule, bruh. I said 133. And you look at the rest of this, and then you look at Ohio State, 28th. Texas, 38th. Penn State, 35. Indiana, 106. Oh, but Monty. No, but Monty. That's 106.
That's out of the window.
You Google Kurt Signetti. All he does is beat teams on a weak schedule.
Right.
Show me that you can beat Ohio State. Decimation up front. Ohio State's offensive line, Seth McLaughlin tore his Kobe muscle, and he's out for the year. They're decimated on the offensive line. 106. No excuses.
I
Kurt.
win. Google me.
You beat Ohio State. I won't be here Monday bowing down.
Don't worry. I'll have the best of, Kurt Signetti highlight package for Monday.
Here's my promise. If you beat Ohio State Saturday night, I'll Google you. How about that?
My dude over here is just going to tweet a picture of his Wikipedia page.
I've thought about it. I thought about it after they won last weekend of a Google, just a screenshot of me Googling Kirk Signetti.
Google me.
I thought it, but I thought there would be too much red assery there.
Don't worry. You ain't going to have to do that.
I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State at the shoe. And if you do, crown his ass.
More power to you, bro.
Right. That is, I mean.
Already crowned Kurt.
Yeah. And that's why you got to hit the like button right now on YouTube. Give us a like. Hey, if you're watching on Spotify, please come on over to YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Join our great community here. We have so many great commenters. Today alone, and the show's been rolling for 33 minutes. Today, hello. We have 1,000 views and over 400 comments already in 33 minutes. So, hey, I love it. Come on, if you're on Spotify, hello. Thank you to everybody watching the show on Spotify. If you're somebody who likes to rewatch the show, Spotify is a great platform for you. YouTube's a great platform. Both of them are in video form.
And
yes.
Spotify lets you run it in the background.
Hello, yes, they
do. Which is huge.
Yes, they do. One other thing real quick, one other piece of business. A lot of you are asking me about the number of commercials that you're seeing on YouTube and Spotify. We don't have any control over that. That is all Spotify. That is all YouTube. We don't. On YouTube, I would encourage you to subscribe to Premium.
Yeah.
YouTube Premium, it is cheap, but it is well worth it. You'll never see another commercial.
Yeah, the deal is for the problem.
Here's the deal.
The problem is that with our show, and it's not a problem. It's a credit to you guys, frankly. You're doing a great job. The problem is that you guys watch for so long every time you watch. Like our average view duration is 27 minutes. So what you're telling YouTube is you like the show. And so what YouTube does in response to that is shows more ads. So unfortunately, if you want to streamline that experience, you're going to have to do YouTube Premium. And I know it's $10 a month. It's not ideal. I think it's $10 a month, but it's not ideal. But if it bothers you that much, unfortunately, that's the route you're going to have to go, because we don't really have a way to dial that back. We don't have a way to say, hey, don't show as many ads. So, it's not like, oh, well, you guys just want all your money. Well, yeah, we do, but it's not really in our control, like what YouTube does. So Just saying. I appreciate that you guys deal with a lot of commercials. Yeah.
I watch the show. I don't, because I have a YouTube Premium membership. So I don't do. I'm telling you, it's worth it. Hit the like button right now on the channel, please. It helps the channel grow. While we tell you about Prize Picks, Jameis Winston is a Pimp Mac Daddy because he balled out in the snow.
Yeah, the great crotch grabber.
So Jameis Winston, let's recap. Jameis Winston stole crab at a Publix, allegedly, while at Florida State. Jameis Winston in an Uber allegedly grabbed a woman's,
Kitty cat juices is not all over the place.
She was unhappy about that. And then he ignored play calls in New Orleans, so they cut him. And now last night, little Uncle Monty here said, I have a lot of respect for famous Jameis. And
his horses in the pregame.
So, he was so excited. He is one of the best interviews, but he also is a really good pick on Prize Picks last night because I needed him for 217.5 yards. My guy came through with 219. That last completion saved this dude. And then Jerry Jeudy, I told you 47.5 yards. My guy doubled that almost for 85. I'd like to thank, oh my God. Did you guys see Anthony Edwards last night? So Rudy Gobert, who on this show, Monty, let's go Bear.
Yeah, we
know.
We know, dude. We know. It's a shtick.
It's spar down, Sparky. Okay,
Yeah,
just relax.
Just chill, dude.
Or as you guys like to say in the comments section, listen, bud. I love that Bud is now back in the vernacular.
Y'all reading all this cap ass shit.
Of the keyboard gangsters.
All right.
Listen, bud. So Rudy Gobert last night posts up in the paint in the fourth quarter, I think with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. Tie game.
Julius Randle at the top of the key. Extended right. Ant is in the far corner. Dante DiVincenzo is to the right, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker's in the corner. So let me get this right. You're Rudy Gobert. You're going to back a dude down in the paint. Julius Randle refuses to throw Rudy Gobert the basketball. So Rudy Gobert then turns around and pouts. And then Randall's like, come on, dude. You suck. Get out of the paint. And Rudy Gobert turns and waltzes out of the paint. Yeah, we're going to have to blow the whistle because that's a 3-second violation.
Nice job, Rudy.
Thanks, Gobert.
Yeah, nice job.
And you killed Ant 1, 2, or 3 on a flex play last night. Took home $20. Appreciate that.
Yeah, did you all enjoy the snow game? Was that enjoyable?
I thought it was remarkable.
Yeah.
I thought it was remarkable. And Mrs. Monty and I are sitting on the couch. She made the most unbelievable chili last night.
Okay, here, let me help you out here.
And there were some wall shakers this morning in the shower. And I got to tell you, watching the highlights of that game while I was creating fertilizer this morning, I got to tell you that that game was fun to watch.
Yeah.
And if you're not happy for the fans in Cleveland, you're out your mind because those fans have suffered.
I love how Jameis after the game, we can't play it because it's NFL, but
NFL
but
Network.
Jameis goes, yeah, I'm standing out there and I just knew it was an NFL Films moment. I just had to come through. Like, come on, bro. You can't honestly tell me you're standing out there in your head thinking, oh, man, bro, all these throws I'm making are going to be on the NFL Films one day. Come on, Jameis. Come on.
Yeah, they're going to put me on NFL. They're not.
You're not that good, dude.
Not unless we got a perp walk from the Publix after you stole that crab, bud.
Yeah, if we're doing an NFL Films episode on how to steal crab legs, yeah, you're going to be first team all crab legs.
And that the one where he ran into the end zone there and his equipment fell off the top of his helmet. Did you guys see that? It's the battery pack for the speaker majiggy thing.
Yeah, the communication
popped
device
out the top of his helmet.
Yeah.
That saved him because of that terrible interception he threw. But the snow game was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I look at the comment section and comment dump. So did I really just see Rich Rodriguez to West Virginia? No. No, the answer is hell no. No.
Bro, that's traumatizing.
No.
Hell no.
Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You deposit $5. They'll give you $50 more instantly. Prize Picks, America's favorite daily fantasy app. Tens of millions of users. The Monty Show.
Hey, Monty.
The funny thing is Jake and I send screenshots back and forth to each other.
Okay.
During the night of not of nudes, right? Who are you? Can we talk about Adam Schefter?